Welcome to the Halliwell Manor. I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And we're here to discuss Season 7, Episode 17 of Charmed.
Scry Hard!
Okay,
Die Hard, but with premonitions. Except no premonitions. There are no premonitions in this episode.
Also, weirdly not a Die Hard plot.
It is...
Well...
No, it... Okay, so... You know I take notes on my episodes.
Yes.
And my method is I watch the episode once all the way through, and then I watch it again taking notes. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even really think about it when I was watching it through the first time, but then as I was taking notes, I was like, oh wait, this is the plot of Die Hard! I actually wrote in my notes, oh wait, the title actually makes sense for once. This is the plot of Die Hard.
Alright, I will choose to believe you. It has been a little while since we
have to really stretch the definition of what the plot of Die Hard is.
Yes. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. The thing about having a small child is sometimes your entire household gets sick in shifts in a way that makes it impossible to record a podcast for a few weeks.
That is true, but very soon I will be on my funcation. My funcation sabbatical from the job that pays us money. So we will hopefully be able to have some more time and bank up some episodes.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this out there, not a shockingly original thought or anything, but later Charmed has a few stock plots, and this is probably my least favorite. The something wacky happens with Baby Wyatt's omnipotent godlike baby powers. Like, it has to be my least favorite of the Charmed stock plots.
I totally get that. I'm going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
I liked this episode more every time I watched it, and by the end, I don't know if I was just like, I don't know if it was just
Stockholm Syndrome.
I don't want to say that because it's not a real thing.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of some other phrase because Stockholm Syndrome is just being rightly setting that aside.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I was like, wait, do I actually love this episode? I think I might actually love this episode.
No, I think watching something over and over and over again makes you appreciate it even if you don't like it, even if it is objectively bad. Like, our kid has been having a little Frozen phase as of recent.
Frozen's not objectively bad, though. It's objectively good.
I have seen Frozen 2 roughly 12 times over the past month and a half, let's say. And I appreciate it as a movie now. I'm like, you know what? They made a lot of good choices here. You know when I wasn't saying that?
When we saw it in theaters before we had children? Okay, here's what I'm going to throw out there, though.
Yeah?
A lot of times we will watch an episode, and I'll have thought it was just fizzy fun. And then, as we talk about it, I'll be like, this episode does not stand up to scrutiny. It does not get good the more you watch it. Whereas in this episode, I feel like there's a lot of good stuff happening in the background that it does stand up to watching. I see things... I get something new out of it every time I watch it, you know? Like Dodgeball. That is a super niche reference to the television show Extras. I do not... And Ben Stiller's cameo in it. I do not expect anyone to get that joke.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that, because weirdly enough, Dodgeball is a movie I saw, and I thought it was super hilarious the first time I saw it. I thought it was so funny, I had to talk a friend of mine into coming to see it with me. I was like, you know what? This movie is so funny, I want you to see it, like, the next day. So I'm sitting there next to her, watching this movie that I thought was hilarious yesterday, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the dumbest, worst thing ever filmed. And just the fall off can happen so fast there. Also, they were playing it at my gym recently.
That seems like the place to... honestly, watching Dodgeball on mute while on a treadmill seems like the best way to watch it.
It's really weird, the kind of... Almost every joke in that movie, not almost every, but quite a few of the jokes in that movie are just homophobia.
Oh, don't forget there's also fat jokes.
Oh yeah, and fat jokes. But my thing is, I don't think anyone who worked on that movie, except possibly Vince Vaughn, would describe themselves as being anti-gay. But, like, every other joke is a gay joke, because that's just kind of how that time period worked. because there's that weird kind of mental disconnect where it's like, nobody would ever say that being gay is bad, but being gay is funny, and it's an embarrassing thing to be. But if you're gay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole scene where the joke is that Ben Stiller's character is exercising, but it looks like he's bottoming to his, like, really muscular assistant guy. That's the whole joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, I want to point out, Ben Stiller playing the most cartoonishly over-the-top asshole is still more likable than Vince Vaughn.
Wow! Okay, yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah, there's a Ricky Gervais TV show called Extras.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to tell anyone to subject themselves to Ricky Gervais. That's just nonsense. But the television show, the conceit of it is that he plays an extra in various films that are being filmed around London where he lives. And they have incredible guest stars. And essentially every single guest star gets an amazing monologue playing themselves. There's like the Ben Stiller one.
Yeah.
There's a Kate Winslet one.
Come on, the best one is definitely the Patrick Stewart one.
There's a Patrick Stewart one. I mean, the Kate Winslet one is also pretty great. But my point is, it's worth just watching those on YouTube. Like, if you can just see a compilation of those on YouTube.
I feel like the American Dad people saw Patrick Stewart doing that speech, and they were like, oh, we need to hire him to be a character that just says the most off-the-wall shit constantly.
Have I told my Patrick Stewart story before? Because even if I haven't, I'm going to tell it again.
Go
Sorry.
for it.
You just have to deal with the dear listeners if I have already told this story.
You can pretend you're in a relationship with us because, all relationships are telling the same 5 stories on a loop over and over again.
Okay, so I grew up in Sarasota, and we have a film festival, the Sarasota Film Festival, which is actually a pretty decent film festival. Anyway.
You might know the town Sarasota from the TV show Cougar Town.
They never say Sarasota, but it's where they are. So, Patrick Stewart was there with his film, the remake of Lion in Winter. Another great film, by the way, if you want. Anyway. And he was doing...
Wait, the original or the remake?
The original.
Yeah.
I mean, the remake's fine, but the original.
We should watch the original.
Anyway, they're doing a Q&A afterwards. And Patrick Stewart was talking about how he was being more mindful about roles he took because he had done... I think this was right after the second X-Men movie had come out.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about sitting in his trailer on set, just like waiting for hours and hours for them to get to his scene, and him realizing that, we only have one life, and he's spending it sitting in this trailer waiting. And he was like, from now on, I'm only going to do roles that interest me, that I care about, that I feel passionately about. And I think about that every time I'm watching American Dad, and they have Avery Bullock saying some completely out-of-pocket stuff. I'm like... Yes, this is what Patrick Stewart feels like is worth doing.
I want to point out...
good for him.
2 things. A, I want to point out that he went on to do like 7 more X-Men movies after that.
Okay.
And B, Patrick Stewart, previous to this point in his career, played the villain in a movie called Masterminds.
Yes, he did.
Which was a Die Hard parody set in a high school.
Oh my god, you brought us back around!
Yes. Also, it starred Angel's son from the TV show Angel. Or
Alexis Bledell's husband.
In real life.
In real life.
Or Alison Brie's husband in fake life.
Yes, yes.
But yes, see, we brought it back around.
Although I would say it was...
and then we started talking about a Buffy actor. I
would say it's a Die Hard pastiche, not a parody. But okay, let's do this! Scry Hard!
So, we open with Leo leading Piper into the attic.
He's like, I've got a surprise for you. And the surprise is that he has cleaned and organized the attic.
Oh, dude. This is such a swing. But, I don't know. Calling it a swing implies that there's a universe where it would connect to something. Like, I don't imagine you doing this and seeing any outcome where Piper was not super fucking pissed at the end of it.
Apparently, now that he is no longer an elder or even a white lighter, Leo is unsure what to do with himself, and he's just cleaning and reorganizing everything. He's just going very, could a depressed person do this?
bro, you have 2 children, one of whom is still a baby. How do you have time for this?
I don't know what to tell you. I will say, when he sees Piper's reaction, he goes, "Oh, you hate it," and she goes, "I don't hate anything," and that's a fucking lie. That is a lie. Also, she's like giving him a hard time because he put all of her potion bottle corks, like the extra ones, in a little velvet bag so they don't get dried out. And I'm like, that seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why she's being such a bitch about it.
Well, she does point out she literally doesn't know where anything is now.
Okay.
Which, yeah. But Leo uncovered their old dollhouse, which I feel like is different than the dollhouse we've seen before, because this one's a replica of the manor.
It is. Okay. I love this. As a child who grew up in the 80s, I feel like there were a lot of books where characters had dollhouses of their own house. And so I'm a sucker for that. I love it. I want a dollhouse of our house.
Hey, you know where that's a plot point?
Where?
The movie that's been playing on loop in our house for the past 3 days.
Yes, I know. It's in Gabby's Dollhouse. And I know that last time we were watching Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, with our small child, I was like, oh, I always wanted a dollhouse that looked like my house. Whatever, I know. We were just talking about it. But I wrote it down in my notes before we got into the Gabby's Dollhouse movie, like, on repeat thing.
Speaking of the thing, my theory earlier that if you watch the same thing over and over again, you'll start liking it. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm not saying anyone should watch it unbidden by a small child. But there are aspects of that movie I have ended up enjoying just because I've seen it 5,000 times by now.
Well, I mean, first of all, the villainous cat doll is voiced by Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah, and the villainous cat lady is played by Kristen Wiig.
So, I mean, yeah.
Who weirdly brought her A game to this movie for no reason.
I mean, it's not a movie that's worth watching if you don't have kids, but as somebody who's had to watch movies with a child, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse.
I also appreciate that Gabby's grandmother spends the entire movie drunk, or most of the movie drunk, which kind of adds a different element.
I don't think she's supposed to be drunk. Remember, they're from Cat Francisco.
Oh, you think she's supposed to be? Well, just the bit where she's like, and a little something for Gigi, and it's clearly a cup of something. Maybe it's peyote.
She's drinking a teeny tiny martini out of a dollhouse cup. She's stoned.
Yeah.
That movie also takes place in, fake San Francisco.
Yeah, Cat Francisco.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I was going to say is, if anything, Piper should be mad that Leo pulled out this clearly magical item and started messing with it. Especially now that he doesn't have magical powers.
Yeah. Yeah, this does seem kind of like the sort of thing that'll set your lights off. This dollhouse also becomes weirdly important later.
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. It feels a little late in the series to be dropping something like this. Especially when you could bring back the fucking spirit board.
Oh, the spirit board. Okay.
I know. What is this, season 2?
Last year I went to a fiber festival in Salem, Oregon. And while I was there, I went to the Ouija Museum, and he didn't have the spirit board from Charmed, even though he owns it. Mm. That's not how I went. I didn't know that. I just wandered into the place. Which is how you should find a Ouija museum. Mm. But I asked if he had it, and he does own it, but it was like on loan to the Museum of Television and Film or something. So I'm hopeful, because I'm going back to that festival this year, that he has it back and I get to see it. But yeah, no, they should have brought back the spirit board.
So Piper talks about how Leo's been like all these different kinds of magical creatures, and now he's just a human, so he needs to stop like trying to control everything, because he might have been a godlike being for a while, but he's not anymore. So like, get over it, dude.
So I know I didn't need to write it in my notes because we definitely would have talked about it anyway later. Mm-hmm. But I was like, oh, it's like Riley from Buffy.
Yeah.
When Riley loses his initiative powers, and all of a sudden it's like, Oh, I don't know how to be with a powerful woman. You better write an out-of-nowhere plot where I get addicted to being fed on by vampires to justify getting rid of me.
Remember, they do it to him twice.
To Riley?
Yeah. In season 4, when he goes off the initiative drugs, and then suddenly he's like, oh, I'm weaker than I was before. And it's like, well, you seem like a pretty normal dude before. And then they do it again in season 5, when, remember, he starts getting that, like, hyperactivity thing.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, the
Yeah.
season 4 one was temporary, so I wasn't really counting that one.
But it didn't ever come off like he had superpowers, though. Like...
His real superpower was a team. The real superpower was the friends he made along the way.
Vaguely speaking of, Piper is not being as harsh at Leo as one would expect given their past history. Like, she tells him, look, I know this new thing for you is difficult, and it's going to take some adjusting, but we'll figure it out together. And then a guy comes in and throws a boomerang at them.
Yes, a demon. Not just any guy.
Yeah. It's not, it's one of those random street boomerangings you're always hearing about.
Craven is the name of the demon.
Oh my god. Someone was a Spider-Man fan.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I kind of love this guy. This actor is one of the things that I feel like is elevating this episode. He shimmers into the attic, throws a weird metal boomerang at Leo to scratch him, and then it embeds itself in the wall of the attic and he shimmers out. And when he shimmers out, we see that he is in Zanku's lair. He has been hired by, is working with, is boyfriends with.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, seriously, they have a squabbling lover dynamic. Yeah, but he's working with Zanku, who I have to say is less and less scary every time he appears on this show. I know that you were like, you've been keeping track of how many people are able to put one over on him.
Up? Yeah. A woman with Piper's powers managed to take him out a few episodes ago. Not even Piper, who has had her powers and theoretically knows how to use them. Some random lady who Piper's powers zooped into managed to temporarily defeat him.
Yup.
Like, this dude is...
I feel like, well, I don't even want to say it because I'm going to be proven wrong next week, but it does feel like this might be the pinnacle of patheticness, the nadir of power for Zanku.
So, we get, I feel like, some new shots of San Francisco. I feel like there's a lot of shots of the docks.
I was just thinking, I don't feel like we've gotten that particular look at the bay before.
We've definitely done this zoom-in thing over the bridge, though. That's just definitely reused. And it just keeps going and going. We have so many establishing shots of San Francisco. We know this city inside and out by the end of this intro.
This is what streaming took from us.
Yeah.
So Leo is looking through the book, trying to figure out what the metal boomerang is. The boomer knife, the knife-a-ring, and the blade-a-ring. And he can't find anything about it.
Piper comes in and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm gonna find what demon uses this so I can make a vanquishing potion and kill it. And Piper's like, honey, sweetheart, I know theoretically we should all be carrying potions all the time, right? And like, that would be a logical thing. But also, you are super mortal right now. And I know our whole thing is one of us is dying and the other one comes and blah, blah, blah. But we can't really do that anymore now that you're just some mortal guy.
Even Buffy let mortals do the research part. I mean, come on. I do want to kind of note the little meta thing where she's like, a demon tried to kill you. And he says, demons try to kill us every week. Then Wyatt shows up and is very sad to see his parents hurt, I assume. Because that's what they tell us in dialogue.
Yeah.
Anything this kid says is said off screen because it's definitely not being said by this actual actor. And the kid looks just so dead-eyed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not nice to make fun of child actors, but also this kid. I know they picked him, or the twins, because they were the least reactive, because you need a baby to not be freaking out on set. But it kind of works against you when Wyatt comes off like he doesn't seem like he gives a shit about anything that's happening.
He looks like he's been to Cat Francisco.
Oof.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't make a joke about babies being stoned, but seriously, he's just non-responsive to anything.
He's looking at this one point off camera, and I'm like, okay,
probably where his mother is standing.
Yeah.
So,
because they're like, oh, did you come upstairs because you were worried about Daddy? And he's just staring off in some random...
Clearly he's not. He is not worried at all.
He's not even looking at Leo. Like, Leo comes to pick him up, and the kid is just looking off in the middle distance.
So, another reason I love this episode is Rose McGowan.
Okay, Paige has been headmaster for, 4 weeks, and she's already so done with it.
She's so bored. She's in her office, spinning around in her spinny chair, trying to decide if she should put this particular class, on Tuesdays or Thursdays. And when Piper comes in with the bladerang, she's like, ooh, throw it at my calendar. Throw it at my planner, wherever it lands. That's when we'll do class. And it's Friday.
So Piper's like, hey, Paige, my husband's on this weird murdery thing, and he doesn't really have the god powers to back it up anymore.
He's actually not, though. I know you said that Piper isn't being as mean as she could be, but she's also being way, way overreactive to everything. Mm. He's not the one who's out of control, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I guess Piper's the one who has to learn the lesson about not keeping Leo in a cage.
Literally, in this episode.
Yeah.
Literally. But I do want to point out that she wants Paige to scry with the bladerang and figure out what demon it was that came and attacked them. She wants Paige to do it. Paige is at work. I mean, I guess Phoebe is too. But it didn't even occur to her to even ask the sister that actually has literal premonitions to try to get a premonition. This is a post-premonition world. We just don't even care anymore.
I'm sorry. I keep thinking about Sigourney Weaver's character in Galaxy Quest. I have one job. Mm-hmm. It's stupid and it's pointless, but I'm going to do it. Except they don't even give her that anymore.
Right? Oh, but when I said that Piper has literally put Leo in a cage, she says, she tells Paige that he won't come to magic school to be safe, which is what she wants him to do. So without him knowing, she put crystals around him to protect him from any demons showing up.
Shouldn't that also stop him from being able to escape?
That's what I said. She put him in a cage.
Yeah.
Although I guess it wasn't a crystal cage. I guess they were probably just protection crystals, but...
That seems like a smart thing to have around your house, honestly. I know we can't get into it, but... Boy, it sure sounds like Piper's playing around with the concept of wards.
Yeah. Let's not get too crazy, though. I don't think she would ever do anything as out of control as protect her home from demons. Speaking of demons...
Yeah, speaking of demons, we go back to the underworld, where... Craven is arguing with Zanku, and yeah, you're right, they have serious couple vibes.
Craven's like, when are we gonna go back and fight the Charmed Ones? And Zanku's like, we're not. They're gonna come to us. And Craven's like, but this place is a mess!
Craven thinks that they're luring the Charmed Ones into a trap so they can kill them, and Zanku's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to kill the Charmed Ones with, one small tribe of demons. There's 7 guys here. You're not going to kill the Charmed Ones with 7 guys. And Craven's like, you're going to get all my dudes killed, aren't you? I've worked so hard to have this nice little, tribe of demons, and you're just going to get them all killed. And Zanku's like, yeah, pretty much, but I will get the power of the Shadow.
The Nexus. I mean, he does also call it the Shadow. But yeah, the Nexus. He's going to steal the Charmed Ones' homes. So, okay. Zanku's plan is to wound Leo then the sisters will gather around Leo to keep him safe and bring him to magic school to protect him, and they won't want to leave his side, and then they'll be able to go steal the house. And Zanku says, if I know the Charmed Ones, and I do, they'll do whatever it takes to keep Leo safe. And I'm like, Zanku, I think maybe you do not know the Charmed Ones.
It's not a good plan on, like, 3 different levels.
Right?
Like, A, that's not going to get all of the Charmed Ones out of the house. B, everyone who's tried to use the power of the Hollow, the Shadow, the Nexus, every one of those people have got all blowed up.
Yep.
I don't even remember what C is. Wyatt, probably.
We'll see that one of the Charmed Ones can orb, so it will probably take about 30 seconds to bring Leo to magic school and come back.
Like, and even if she couldn't, like, they have magic doors that can go like...
I know. Ugh. So...
Speaking of incompetent management...
Okay. No, go ahead.
Elise is off on an office emergency and is putting Phoebe in charge of the newspaper.
Okay, but she's clearly doing it to get even with Phoebe. She's like, you're always like, oh, I have a family emergency. Well, guess what? It's time for Elise to go get laid. I'm going to get out of here, and I am going to go get mine, and you're going to see what it feels like to be me for a day. Except she doesn't say all those words. She just says, it's my emergency. You need to deal with this. And I kind of love what Elise is doing here. I really appreciate it. But yes, you are right. It's only through sheer dumb luck that the entire newspaper didn't burn down.
Also, Phoebe Halliwell, the advice columnist, is the 3rd person in charge of this newspaper.
Oh, no, so it seemed clear to me that she is not. That Elise is putting her in charge because she is mad at her.
Okay, that's better. Because the copy editor comes up to Phoebe and Phoebe immediately says, "Who are you?" Which is so rude. You have been working here for a while. You should know who the fucking copy editor is.
Well, also, as long as we're talking about this plot, the Bay Mirror always struck me as being like an alt weekly. Mm-hmm. I guess that's not true. I guess there's no reason to necessarily think that. But yeah, it seemed to me like an alt weekly, a newspaper that comes out once a week. And it is instead a newspaper that at the very least comes out twice a day because Phoebe is racing to get the evening edition out. Which is wild because we don't even have newspapers that come out twice a day anymore, and I don't think we did then either.
Yeah, that was definitely past the point where the evening standard was a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elise dumps her entire job onto Phoebe and scuttles off, and the entire office immediately starts rushing up to Phoebe with their problems.
See, this was planned. Everyone has a problem. The ad buyer comes and says that they accidentally oversold ad space. There is a line of people waiting to talk to her that we never hear what they have to say, so I don't even know what they wanted. Two other columnists are fighting with each other. Yeah.
Back at the Manor, Leo is, looking after his children, which is the thing that should be occupying all of his time now.
Yes. And he's, showing the dollhouse to Wyatt. He's, giving him a little tour of the dollhouse or whatever. And later we're going to find out that Leo never even opened the dollhouse up. So what exactly is he showing this child?
Also, this dollhouse, I guess it's probably magic. The layout would have changed, right? Because theoretically, Grams would have built it to the, what the Manor looked like when she was alive.
No, it still does, because remember, they go into her sewing room. That doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah. But, it is magic. It is magic dollhouse.
So, Paige has orbed Phoebe into the underworld to go hunting after the demons that, blah, 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 attack Leo. Mm-hmm. And Phoebe is complaining about Elise dropping her entire job in her lap. And Paige is like, I have a whole ass school to run. Cry me a river. A school I'm so bored
right?
of
It's
running.
neither of you are doing anything, so whatever. Zanku shows up and they're like, oh, fuck. But, an annoyed kind of fuck, not an actual concern.
Because Phoebe's like, I can only give you 10 minutes, and, like, 3 demons blorp in. And Paige is like, I think it's going to take more than 3 minutes. And then they blow them all up. That took, like, 4 seconds. I know the implication is that more than 3 guys popped in. But you only showed us 3 guys popping in. And then also, immediately blew them up.
Yeah. But Zanku's plan is to keep them distracted down in the underworld while Craven and some of his guys take over the manor. So he assumed that all 3 sisters would come down here, when obviously Piper did not, because she had to take care of her wounded husband. This would not be an issue if he had not done the first part of his plan where he sent Craven to wound Leo.
So
this is just a bad plan all around.
It really is. So Leo and Piper are... I guess it's a good conversation to have.
What is Leo now that he is not a white lighter, is not an elder, and also doesn't have a human identity?
Well, they're also kind of setting boundaries, too. Like, because Leo's like, look, I know I'm in this new stage of my life, but you don't need to do shit like, I don't know, hide protection crystals around the house. Like, it's my job to protect you. And Piper's like, okay, is this a white lighter thing, or is this I am a dude from the 50s thing? Because in either case, I need to be the one to protect you now because I'm the one with the power. Which she always kind of was, but, you know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I appreciate that they're doing this. This isn't an argument. It's a discussion they're having.
It is. I mean, I know we go to Buffy a lot, and I know I'm doing it a lot in this particular episode. But in Buffy, it is possible to be a human who is still a member of the team. Whereas in Charmed, you can't even just be a regular magic user. If you are not a charmed one, you are not on the level to be a member of the team. So, yeah, I guess Leo really just does not fit in anymore. Anyway, Craven and some of his guys shimmer in, and now they're going to fight them. I really, really like the choices that Craven is making in this particular episode. He's skulking around doorways and stuff, and he's being very cartoonish. And it's definitely helped by the fact that the camera zooms are, like, also being kind of weird, the way that they're tracking him.
Yeah, it keeps doing this, like, fast zoom thing.
Yeah, they're doing, like, yes, exactly. They're doing fast zooms onto him.
And Leo's trying to get Wyatt.
Because Wyatt's coming down the stairs.
And he gets distracted when he sees Wyatt. Craven hits him with the boomerang. Piper attempts to blow...
the bladering.
The bladering. Piper attempts to blow up Craven, but just kind of blasts him in the arm.
And he disappears. Craven shimmers out. And Wyatt is so distraught at the idea that his father has been hurt that he miniaturizes Leo and Piper and puts them into the dollhouse. And I know it's obviously you're going to run and protect your child. Like, I'm not doing like a CinemaSins here, right?
Yes.
It is totally understandable that Leo ran to protect his child. But the fact of the matter is...
Wyatt is functionally omnipotent and immortal.
Wyatt was fine.
Honestly, the shot of Wyatt looking down at the dollhouse and smiling it's kind of unsettling, but I don't know if that's just because this is the first time this child has shown any emotion in this episode.
I would say it's unsettling because he's not really showing any emotion. Also, maybe it's because of how many times I've watched this episode, but I feel like that's clearly the other twin than the first one we were talking about.
Yeah.
Also, this kind of relates back to our Farscape podcast, because what we've got here is a toddler with a cannon.
Yes.
So, down in the underworld...
Phoebe's like, why is he doing this? It's not like these scrub demons can kill us, and I've got a newspaper to run. Paige clocks on pretty quick. She's like, okay, then this is obviously a distraction, and they're after something else. Probably Leo? which feels like an odd...
Yeah.
But she's not wrong, so...
But Paige gives some more potions to Phoebe and is like, all right, well, let's just finish this up and get the hell out of there. Craven comes down, wounded, and lets Zanku know that he failed because there is still a charmed one in the manor. And then Elise's phone that Phoebe is carrying starts ringing. And I do appreciate Phoebe's like, oh my god, the reception on this thing is awesome.
We're in the underworld right now.
She tosses the phone so that it distracts the demons. They go to where the phone is instead of where the charmed ones are. They throw
vanquishing potions at Zanku, and Zanku deflects them into the rest of this dude's tribe of demons. And it's like, dude, you could have deflected those literally anywhere. And he's like, haha, you missed. And Craven's like, excuse me, what? Those were all of my guys.
I mean, there are more guys, because Zanku then does say, go get the rest of the tribe and we'll figure this out. And it's like, okay. Minions are not an unlimited resource, Zanku. Back in the manor, Piper cannot blow their way out of the dollhouse.
Yeah, Wyatt has put a force field around the dollhouse.
Yeah, how about that? Wyatt knows how to do wards. Oh.
So, Piper tries yelling at Wyatt until he unshrinkifies them and gets them out of the dollhouse, and Wyatt just straight up ignores her because he's a baby.
She does the thing where she uses his full name. She's like, Wyatt Matthew Halliwell. And Leo's like, wow, first time breaking out the full name, which I do not believe. That can't possibly be the first time she breaks out using the full name, but okay. Leo's chilling on the couch, and he's like, wow, this furniture is very comfortable considering it's dollhouse furniture.
He's like, ooh, this couch is so comfortable, while he looks like the most uncomfortable person on the face of the planet.
I mean, to be fair, he's bleeding to death.
Yeah. So, Paige comes home, and she sees Wyatt and Chris just playing in their playpens up in the attic, and she's like, huh, that's weird. Piper doesn't usually just ditch her kids in the middle of, the attic.
Piper tries to get her attention, but again, when she tries to blast the window, she just ends up blasting herself backwards.
I feel like Paige should have seen that.
It was a tiny little flicker in the dollhouse.
I feel like if there's any line of work where you should be aware of tiny little flickers, it's witchcraft.
Okay, so back in the underworld, Zanku's still giving his speech and talking about how his plan is still going to work, and they're all probably regrouping at magic school, and he's got them on the run. And in the background, I'm telling you, I love this guy so much. In the background, Craven makes this choice where he just tiredly feels his wound and then licks the blood off his finger. Like, he's just so bored and like, oh, it ruined my best leather vest.
So, I feel like we should at least touch on what Zanku's dudes are wearing, because it feels like the underworld aesthetic has shifted a tiny bit.
Oh, go on. Because I thought they were wearing your generic leather daddy demon outfits.
No, that is the shift. Demons aren't just people wearing black shirts and black pants anymore. Now there's more of a, I'm going to say, halfway between S&M, halfway between Gladiator movie thing going on.
Okay.
There's a lot of I got a Party City Gladiator, what are they called? Cuirass? Like the body armor.
Sure.
And then I zhuzhed it up with some S&M accoutrement.
Okay. I'm going to have to kind of keep an eye out for that, because I hadn't noticed, said switch, but I can see that. Yeah, okay.
So Zanku and the rest of the tribe of demons are wandering around the manor looking for the Nexus. Well, Piper and Leo are chillaxing in the dollhouse. Leo his ass is bleeding.
And he's just like, okay, well, time to die. And Piper's like, okay, I know you're not an elder or a whitelighter anymore, but you're still a doctor, right? And he's like, I was a doctor a long time ago. She's like, oh, right, because the human body has changed so much in the last 60 years. I forgot. And he's like, okay, fine, I will save myself. He asks about Grams's sewing room, which is what the room used to be before it became Wyatt's nursery. And I'm sorry, I thought Wyatt's nursery was a closet.
Yeah, it was a closet you rebuilt into a room, kind of.
I'm just now noticing that the sewing room is filled with what I assume are meant to be shirts that are, like, in progress that she was working on when she created the dollhouse and thus, did the thing.
Yeah.
But they're all Hawaiian shirts. There's like 4 Hawaiian shirts hanging in Graham's sewing room. What is happening?
Was Graham secretly really into Jimmy Buffett?
I was going to say, was she briefly married to a parrot head?
Oh yeah, I bet that marriage lasted about 10 seconds. She's like, I killed him in a way that also messed up all of his shirts, so I need to fix them before...
Oh... And Leo, because I don't think we mentioned that the wound is on his back, so he's instructing Piper on how to sew it up. And, y'all, I don't know if they just didn't want to do I don't know if they were like, we can't take his shirt off, or if Brian Krause didn't want to take his shirt off. Either is fine, is a fine choice if an actor doesn't want to do that, but she's sewing the shirt into his wound! Did no one say that looks weird? What was happening on set that day?
So
we're not concerned with the tear in the shirt, Piper. It's the tear in his skin that all the blood is flowing out of.
As long as she's got the needle out.
I guess. She was like 2 birds with 1 stone, except not, because we're going to have to rip it open when we rip that shirt off.
No, we're sewing the bird to the stone.
That doesn't even make any sense.
We're sewing 2 birds to 1 stone. Back at Phoebe's office, Phoebe is flipping out because running a newspaper is hard, and she's calling Elise, and she's like, whatever your family emergency is, it needs to be, resolved, because I have my own family emergency. Getting drunk.
Yeah, no. I kind of love Elise in this episode. We see her, she's at a bar with the guy who should be in charge of the newspaper.
Yeah, the vice president or
sure.
Vice editor.
And then...
Okay, so we're getting a bunch of neat little work problems that Phoebe can resolve with her magical advice columnist skills. One of them is a guy wrote an article, but it's too long, so the copy editor needs to pare it down so it'll fit. And the guy's like, he's taking a butcher knife to my article. I'm Mario. You don't think he's got a Mario aesthetic going on?
No, he does. I'm just flummoxed that he's arguing that he's been, a reporter for years and years, and he's not going to let this young copy editor cut down his copy. And it's like, well, that's literally his job. Have you not been doing that for the past 22 years while you've been a reporter?
Maybe he was able to bully the last copy editor, and that's why they got fired.
Oh, that makes sense. Also, it's weird to me that we don't actually see Phoebe solving these problems with her empathy power. Like, theoretically, it's just her knowledge of how humans work, her knowledge of human nature from doing an advice column.
I legitimately don't think she got her empathy back.
But, it just feels like this is a setup for her to be using it. And yet, it's not.
Yeah, I don't think she ever gets her empathy back. I mean, I know they had the thing where she was, scanning Charisma Carpenter, but I think that was supposed to be a premonition thing? Maybe?
I mean, I agree that you're right. It's just weird. It's just a weirdly missed opportunity to let her have it back here.
I think maybe the show understood that everyone hated it. Am I just assuming? I don't know that everyone hated her empathy power. I mean, I do, but...
Well, I think it's kind of a chicken and an egg situation, right? Did they not know what to do with it because everyone hated it, or did everyone hate it because they didn't know what to do with it?
So the second problem Phoebe will have to resolve comes in where a homosexual man is having a problem with another homosexual man, and you can kind of guess where this is going by the fact that I pointed out these two characters' sexualities.
But hey! Oh, I think you were about to say that. What I was about to say.
That they're acknowledging that gay people exist in San Francisco.
Yes.
This is the second time gay people have shown up in an episode of Charmed, and the first time they don't die.
That's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I almost feel mean to say what I was about to say, which is these two men, not to judge a book by its cover, but these two men do not seem like they would be interested in each other.
No. No.
So, all right, back to what's going on.
Paige pulls Phoebe to the side, and Phoebe's like, okay, are the boys okay? And Paige is like, yeah, the boys are fine. You don't have to worry about the babies. This is not a show where you ever have to worry about the babies.
They're upstairs with Ross's mom.
Yes. And Phoebe's like, okay, so can we deal with this later? Because I have a whole, newspaper to run. And Paige is like, we'll deal with this now.
I mean, yeah. Phoebe's doing the thing where she's getting caught up in her human life, and she's like, hey, if we don't get this paper out, that's 50 people's jobs on the line. And Paige is like, okay, but demons are taking over the Nexus.
There are demons in the Manor, and they're taking over the Nexus. And Phoebe doesn't say what would be a good point. Let them. They're just going to blow up like everyone else does.
Right. Oh, but she tells everyone in the office that she's going into her office for an important conference call, and she is not to be interrupted.
They close the door, and then you see Paige's orb lights just blasting off in the office. The whole office is glowing.
Yeah. So, they show up, and Zanku's like, what, no power of 3? Seriously? Which, yeah, that is funny.
He asks if they know where Piper is, and Phoebe's like, oh, she's at a nail appointment.
Yeah, because their original assumption obviously was that he had done something to her, so the fact that he didn't.
He just telekinetically tosses them out of the building. You're not even going to try to kill them? He even opens the door before telekinetically throwing them out.
Also, I don't feel like he should have been able to do that. Like, that implies that they have taken control of the Nexus. Like, is the Nexus open to be taken control of every time one of them goes to work? I would think there would be, an ownership interest in it.
Also, why does the house only ever protect itself against, evil or whatever when the charmed ones aren't in control of the house?
You know what? That house is a messy bench who loves drama. So they're in Zanku and the demons are up in the attic talking about the plan to take over, to release the shadow from the Nexus, to, etc., etc. And Piper overhears all of this from the dollhouse that they don't know that she's in because she's been shrunk down, and that's the part that's Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's it. Now we're done with anything that's Die Hard now.
If anything, Zanku would be Alan Rickman.
Yeah, Zanku's Alan Rickman, and Craven is Carl.
The one with the beautiful hair.
Yeah. You know what I appreciate about this show? They were like, let's lock Leo and Piper up in another location, but have the location be an exact recreation of the manor so that we don't need to build another set.
It is a smart move.
Okay, so they're trying to figure out how to open the dollhouse, and Leo's like, okay, well, there's got to be a way out of it. How did you play with the dollhouse, right? It's a toy. There must be a way to open it, which is why earlier I mentioned that he hadn't opened the dollhouse, which is a weird thing to not do. And then Piper says she doesn't remember how it opened, which is a weird thing to not remember.
Yeah, it was a lot of years ago, but she thinks it swung open.
I remember how my dollhouse opened. What a weird thing to not remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Wyatt's wards are like those cheap security systems that only block windows and doors. So
Yeah, Leo destroys a chair and then tries to use the leg to pry open the
hinge.
hinge.
And it can be blasted because
Yeah.
the ward only covers windows and doors, not hinges.
Because the hinge isn't technically an exit, I guess.
That seems silly, but we're more than halfway through the episode, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah. By that logic, couldn't Piper have just blown a hole in the wall?
Yeah. Although that's also that's also actually a good security tip. Like, that is a thing that's an issue, so.
Yeah.
So, yep, now they are escaped out of the dollhouse, but they're still tiny. And
I like how we get a shot of the two demon guards that are demon guarding the attic, and they're just kind of standing there bored, and one looks to the side and then looks back.
yep. I like that the next shot we get is upstairs where Craven is looking at the stuffed animals in the nursery, and Zanku is sitting on Piper's bed reading her diary.
Oh my god, he is.
I wrote down Zanku reading Piper's diary is pathetic in the best way.
Craven walks into the room, and Zanku's like, "Did you know that when Piper's sister died, she was sad?" And Craven's standing there like, "What the fuck do you expect me to do with that?"
He's like, she was so distraught. He says, that's why she wouldn't leave Leo behind. And then he's like, wait, if we got rid of Leo, she would be even more distraught. And I'm like, I'm not sure about that, Zanku.
You know what would make her more distraught? If you killed another one of her fucking sisters when you had the goddamn chance. Phoebe doesn't have any active powers. You could have just blasted her with lightning or something instead of telekinetically gently tossing her out the door.
Right? Anyway, back at the newspaper, Phoebe's still trying to work, and Paige is like, we were just expelled from the manor by demons. I think that maybe we should deal with that.
And Piper's missing. And then,
yeah, and Piper's missing too.
And that's when Phoebe has the, but there are 50 jobs on the line if I don't fix the newspaper.
Yeah, so she copy edited the thing for the reporter, and he's happy with it. Which I feel like is not a good use of resources for her to be like, I'll just do the copy editor's job too.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Right, instead of telling him, fuck off, you have to do your job, which includes being edited by the editor.
She resolves the ad problem by shrinking them both.
Yeah, they oversold ad space, so she says to just shrink them and run them both. And I actually don't really have a problem with that. I know you were upset about that.
Well,
because you were like...
The guy points out, he's like, they paid for a certain size ad, and she says, just enlarge the text, and if they complain, send them a bottle of Cristal on Elise's tab. And I'm like, well, enlarging the text doesn't solve the problem that they bought a certain size for their ads.
So... what I understood Phoebe's plan to be was to act like it was a mistake instead of an intentional thing, and then send the Cristal as an apology and be like, oh, so sorry, we'll run another ad for you for free next week.
Oh, okay.
Which seems like maybe not a bad answer.
Well, it sounds like
she's fraud.
Making it... Yeah.
But other than that... And then she tells the two warring reviewers that... clearly the problem is that they want a bone and they should just do that instead. And then
it's like the fashion critic and the theater critic.
Yeah.
And they keep pulling juvenile pranks on each other, and Phoebe's like, he obviously has a crush on you. Just, go have sex in my office.
Well, not in her office, because she's got to go in there and take another conference call, which means orbing out without the blinds even being closed a little bit, by the way, this time.
I guess maybe they could go have sex in Elise's office, since she's not using it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just realizing, Phoebe's office really is where I would expect Elise's office to be.
Also, didn't Jason Dean have his own office? Does Elise have an office?
I mean, she must, right? Okay, so the demons in the manor are in the basement digging up the nexus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you shouldn't need to be physically digging. But they are. And
They're really good at it. They dug through solid cement.
I mean, they are demons.
Hmm.
And Craven's like, what if we can't control it? What if it comes out and kills us all? What if you're wrong? And Zanku's like, well, if I'm wrong, then it's been a pleasure. And I'm like, oh my god, stop flirting. They're so boyfriends.
So Zanku summons the Hollow, the Wookiee, the Shadow, the Nexus, whatever.
The wiki wants you to know that it's not the Wookiee, even though the Shadow is often, or the Nexus is often conflated with the Shadow and the Wookiee. I don't know. Whatever.
It pops out and it immediately kills all the unnamed demons.
It knows not to kill any demons who are being paid for speaking lines.
And Zanku's like, there must still be some good in the Manor, and that's why the Nexus is defending itself.
Yeah, well, so the Nexus will align with whoever holds the Manor. So he thought that it had aligned with him, that it was now evil. But if it's not aligning with him, then yes, there must still be a sister here. Piper must be hiding in the house somewhere. Again, like Die Hard.
Or maybe house ownership doesn't change just because a few people have left the house.
Yeah.
Like, at least Cole went through the effort of getting the deed to the house. Even though that was stupid, at least, you know.
Yeah. Oh. So, Piper and Leo, although they are now tiny, have crawled to the top of the stand where the Book of Shadows is, and Piper is using her powers to flip through the pages so that they can find what it is they're looking for, which causes the demons who are guarding the attic to glance over and then do nothing.
So, at magic school, Paige and Phoebe are trying to cast the To Find a Lost Witch spell, and Paige is like, oh, this is so much harder without the Book of Shadows, which you have done that so many times. I'm surprised you even need to check.
Yeah.
Phoebe's like, do you want to try scrying again? And Paige is like, we scryed like 500 times and we couldn't find Piper, because once again, if someone is tiny, then location magic doesn't work on them.
You know what they should do?
What?
They should scry harder.
Oh my god.
Okay. It's almost the title of the episode. But, yeah, if they're tiny, then they're too small to be located with magic, but using the spell that Piper was able to flip to in the book, she is able to manipulate the scrying pendulum and move it on its own to the map so that Paige and Phoebe see it move. They see it's pointing to the Manor. They realize that Piper is still in the Manor.
And Phoebe's like, okay, but the house is still crawling with demons. What are we going to do? And Paige is like,
it's literally our job, Phoebe. We do it every fucking week. What are you talking about?
Also, like, we've killed thousands of demons. Like, remember we go into the underworld and just go around killing them all willy-nilly?
Honestly, in the next sequence, they aren't even really using magic. They're just physically beating up demons.
Yeah, because Paige is like, we can't use any magic, otherwise Zanku will sense us. So we have to fight demons without using magic.
We'll just kick them.
So why do you give a shit if Zanku can sense you?
Right?
Like, you could fight him using your magic. I mean, I guess Phoebe can't, but...
We do see her actually, like, do a kick where she's holding onto the top of the door frame and she, like, swings and kicks a guy, which I only bring up because that demon actually does have flowing blonde locks.
Yeah, that guy was very clearly cast to be
Carl.
Yeah.
Alright, so they make their way up to the attic where Zanku is waiting for them with a box in which he has green screened teeny tiny Pipers and Leos. I know this came out 26 years ago. It's not their fault that the technology looked that bad. But yes, Piper and Leo are inside a little box. He has caught them and plopped them into a box.
I want to point out that Phoebe and Paige beat up everyone on the way between that room and the attic with minimal effort.
I want to point out that when Zanku is monologuing at them, Paige lifts up her hand and, like, does a mocking talking thing with her hand. She's like, blah, 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 whatever. I really, really like this episode. Like, the more I watch it, the more I like how unhinged everyone is in it. It feels like nobody is giving a fuck in this episode, and they are just all letting it all hang out.
So, Phoebe and Paige start running a scam on Zanku, because Zanku's about to destroy them. And they're like, if you destroy us, you'll never find out how to control the Nexus. I want to say that's your goal, right? And Zanku's like, ooh, that's intriguing. And Craven correctly points out, they're just trying to stop you from killing them. I'm sure if you kill them, then you'll be able to use the power of the Nexus, or it won't fucking matter,
right?
Because killing the Charmed Ones was your goal in the first place.
Oh.
Just energy ball them, my dude.
But no, that's not what he's gonna do.
He picks up Piper, and he tells her, look, you need to cast the spell that gives me control of the Nexus, or I'm gonna kill your husband.
Gonna crush Leo. They clearly told Holly Marie Combs to hold as still as possible while she was green screened into Zanku holding her shrunken self, because she is, yeah. Again, I shouldn't be giving the special effects a hard time.
They de-shrinkify Piper so that they don't have to deal with that anymore, but Zanku still has the box that has Leo in it, which is not open. They're not doing that effect anymore.
Yes. But they go down to the basement. They say a spell to unleash the shadow. The shadow flies out into the box and possesses Leo. And
oh my god, Brian Cross is doing so much neck acting here. It is bazoingies.
They gave him black contact lenses so that his whole eye is black, and he's like holding his breath and stretching his neck tendons to show that he's been possessed by evil.
Like, his neck is so veiny right now. And he uses the power of the Nexus. He's got the Nexus. This is Nexus Leo. He uses the power to vaporize all the demons, and then he just beats the shit out of Zanku. Zanku is casually getting his ass kicked by Leo once again.
And this is the thing that you mentioned, though, that Zanku was doing before, where instead of just blasting him and killing him, he tosses him upstairs.
Yeah. You blew up the other demons, Leo, but Zanku, you're just tossing up the stairs.
And upstairs, Craven is leaning against the kitchen wall. Like, I guess he didn't come downstairs with them, and he just kind of cranes his head around and goes, I told you so. And then Zanku blows him up.
And he's like, never say I told you so.
Which is such a, like, toxic couple thing.
So Leo runs upstairs to, actually kill Zanku, and Piper's like, Leo, honey, you okay? And Leo's like, you need to say the spell right now, or I'm going to totally lose it and, be Nexus Leo forever.
So they say the spell, they send the shadow back down into the basement.
Okay, so the shadow's not the Woogie?
No, the shadow is the Woogie. The shadow and the Woogie are not the Nexus.
Okay, because the shadow's stuck in the Nexus. But getting control of the shadow gives you control of the Nexus?
No, getting control of the Nexus gives you control of the shadow.
Okay, and that's...
Whenever an evil smoke came up.
Also, it's different from the Hollow, but they put the Hollow in the Nexus, right?
Yes. The Hollow is another separate thing.
But the Hollow also possesses you and gives you the power to destroy magic.
I wouldn't say also, because I don't think the shadow gives you that power. I think the shadow just lets you, like, throw bolts out of your hands. So it turns out that because there was both good and evil in the basement, the shadow didn't know how to check the property records and see who was controlling it.
Oh my god.
So it just possessed
the most neutral person there. And Leo used to be an avatar. Can't get much more neutral than that.
Right? Exactly. What makes a man?
What fills a man's heart with neutrality?
Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say. So,
I've had this song stuck in my head for a while. Like, I actually ended up buying it back in the day. Yeah, I'm newly calibrated. Yeah, all shiny and clean.
which is to say that they are at P3 and Collective Soul is the band.
Yes.
Also, just to rub it in, Elise has brought her boy toy to P3 to party. Just to make sure that Phoebe knows that her emergency was getting her back blown out.
Damn. So, Piper's like, are you okay with that? And Phoebe's like, I'm okay with the logic of it. Like, I can't get upset with her because I'm constantly ditching work for vague reasons. But, like, she's not my favorite person ever right now.
She's like, game recognizes game, but I did use her BlackBerry to distract some demons in the underworld, and I'm definitely not buying her a new one. So Leo's like, alright, I guess I better go home where it's safe and hide away. And Paige is like, I guess I better go back to magic school and run the school that I fought so hard for and now I don't want it anymore. And they both leave, and Phoebe and Piper are like,
Who's looking after Piper's kids?
I told you, Ross's mom. Or that fairy nanny they hired.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We went out to a party for, I think, the first time since our child was born.
Yes, we went to a party for the first time in 6 years last weekend. Anyway, this feels really weird because usually P3 is the wrap-up scene, but the wrap-up scene now is actually at magic school.
Because Piper and Phoebe have unilaterally decided to fire Paige and make Leo the new headmaster of magic school.
Right? Remember how she had to, like, go before the elders and, like, do a whole, like, song and dance to get control of magic school? And now they're like, fuck it, we're the charmed ones. What are they gonna say? And at least Leo does ask Paige. He's like, is that okay with you? And she's like, yes! No take-backs! And orbs away.
Yeah, she's like, fine by me, and orbs out, like...
Is it weird to take a job where you can only commute via your sister-in-law?
I think they're going to give him the magic door thing, or at least I'd hope so.
You're right, they do give him the magic door thing, I guess he doesn't have to orb in. So yeah, that was Scry Hard.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really loved it. I really loved how little everyone who was acting in it cared about what they were doing and was willing to just, like, let it all hang loose.
Well, the last shot is Wyatt standing there looking so sinister and rubbing his little hands together. and Leo's like, you don't have to worry about Daddy anymore. Please don't put Daddy in another dollhouse.
Please don't send us to the cornfield.
And he picks up and he hugs Wyatt, but just the fact that the shot of the kid is him standing in the doorway rubbing his hands. Also, all of the extras around him are adults watching around magic school, and it makes it weird that it seems like Wyatt's just wandering around magic school, but...
It is weird.
He was just out in the hallway during this entire conversation.
Now, I know you said you wished it was next week, because next week is Little Box of Horrors.
It's the Buffy episode!
The description from Peacock is, Pandora's box falls into the hands of a shape-shifting demon. Although, honestly, I wish it was 2 weeks from now, because that's when we're doing Freaky Phoebe.
Oh my god! Oh, we are in such a hot run of episodes right now. I still don't think this one, even though I know you like it now, but... Oh my god, I'm so excited for Phoebe and the ugliest demon in the underworld to switch bodies.
Alright, so, should we do our segments?
Yeah, much like the Charmed ones, we have our own Power of Three. The first power in our pack is Premonition, who in this episode is, was, or will become famous. I did not know anyone. Did you have anyone?
No, there was no one in here who was, like, a major star. I did appreciate that the fashion editor was the stage manager from Friends when Joey's doing that weird play.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to call out Craven because that actor's name is Melon Rivera, and he's not famous. He hasn't done anything huge, but what he has done is make his own passion project movie.
Ooh.
Yes, called Skin Deep, which appears to be a psychological thriller. So, I don't know. I might actually check that out.
Yeah, we'll see if it's streaming anywhere. It's good to support passion projects.
Yeah. I just love that. I love that. And given my feelings about him in this episode, I feel like anything that he did as his own passion project is probably going to be worth watching. So.
Yeah. The second power in our pack is Time Freeze. What specifically dated this episode?
Okay, well, I feel like you're going to call me out and say it didn't date the episode since you brought up Gabby's dollhouse earlier, but the dollhouse that looks just like the house felt like right out of a young adult novel from the 80s or early 90s.
All right. You know what mine is?
What?
Phoebe making a comment about getting reception in the underworld.
I almost thought about that one, yeah.
Because I don't feel like people talk about whether or not they're getting reception much anymore. Even though there are dead spots out there. Like, we live in a pretty densely packed area.
Unless you're in a grocery store.
Yeah, for some reason there's a lot of dead spots in grocery stores.
Because the rebar and cement are basically a Faraday cage.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Commenting on the availability of cell phone signals. And the final power in our pack is telekinesis. What, if anything, genuinely moved you? I'm going to say nothing for me. Did you have something?
Yeah, no, not only did nothing genuinely move me, but, like, I feel like I need to specifically call out, especially since we talked about being parents so much this episode, that since becoming a parent, anything like the plotline with Wyatt, where it's like a child worried about losing their parents, would hit me extra hard. But it didn't, because of the cold, lifeless eyes on that child actor, who clearly was feeling no emotion, which is fine. That's whatever. We shouldn't be having children be actors anyway.
Yeah.
But no, nothing moved me.
Yeah, I made this mistake of trying to rewatch The Body. And
nope.
It hits hard. I mean, it hits hard in the first place, but it hits hard in a different way if you're watching it as a parent.
Yeah, because the idea of leaving your child behind is and not being able to protect them anymore is the part that's really the scary horror.
No.
That episode is so powerful. There was a... Yeah, I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, no, that... Whew. All right, so I think that'll about do it for this week.
Yeah, I think that'll about do it.
Yeah, I think it will. Our show is partially listener-supported. If you want to be one of those supporters, head over to our website, www.welcometotelevision.net, and click on our Patreon link. We'd like to thank our current $5 and above patrons, Beryl, Patricia, Rosa, Alex, Becca, Carolyn, Cassidy, Daniel, Elijah, Hoops, Jen, Javier, Maricruz, and Randall.
If you'd like to support the show in other ways, you can always rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find the show.
If you want to talk about this episode, or any episode of any television show, you can email us at ilovetelevisionzines@gmail.com, or you can find us on Blue Sky at Welcome to Television.
So until next time, I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And this has been Welcome to the Halliwell Manor.